Here we are. It's going to be a very interesting morning. I have Robert Smullen. We're going to speak with in just a second. We're on 118th Republican and Conservative primary that's coming up on September 13th. Additionally, his opponent, Pat Vinson, will be in on the phone next hour, both vying for the Republican and Conservative nod. There will be a Democrat in that race in Keith Rubino as well. So that'll be on the general ballot. And then we just have received word that in the 100 and what is that?
Are you talking about 19?
Is it we're talking about Salatino.
119.
That's the 119th Assembly District.
He'll be calling in at 8:10 now.
Okay, so Chris Salatino, who has run into some difficulties with petitions, and there's been a lot of that going on this year. We're going to have the opportunity to speak with Chris Salatino coming up, and he'll give his side of the story. Is he going to appeal that race between Buttonshun and Salatino on the Democratic side?
It's not a race anymore.
Well,
at this point.
You're right. As of right now, he's off the ballot, pending appeal.
Yeah, he may still appeal.
So with all of that stuff going on, we welcome in the studio Robert Smullen. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Bill. How are you doing?
Wonderful. And you were in Herkimer last night, from what I understand. So
had an event there. It was very good, getting out and meeting the people all over the district. This is one of the biggest legislative districts in New York State. It includes parts of 5 counties, including the upper half of Herkimer County, all of Fulton County, Hamilton County, part of St. Lawrence, and even Oneida County.
Not quite as horrible as Brian Miller's district, which was Claudia Tenney's district, which stretches all the way down to in the 101st, all the way down to Orange County. It's crazy.
That's right. That's right.
What happens to you if you get somebody angry with you in Albany? That's what they do to you, apparently.
Well, I don't know anything about that, Bill, but I do know that after every census, it's redone, and then there's some redistricting that's done.
All right, so let's talk about why you feel people should vote for you coming up on September 13th, a Thursday, by the way, which is big. Because it's different. Normally, we have our elections on Tuesdays.
That's right. It's on Thursday, September 13th, not Tuesday, September 11th. And that's because of all the September 11th, 9/11 commemorations and whatnot. But people really are responding very well to the campaign that we're running. It's all about running about the issues, and it's all about getting out and meeting voters across the entire Assembly District. And it's really important to note it is a Republican and Conservative primary. And I've been working very hard across the district to introduce myself to voters, to make sure that they know what I stand for, about all the qualifications and the things that I'm running on, the issues that I'd like to concentrate on in this campaign.
And I have to tell you that I've done some work for Robert in the past in this campaign, and also for your opponent as well, doing work on both sides. So I think that Jeff is going to kind of handle some of the questions on. The last time we had you on was in regards to an arrest that you feel was political, and we'll give you the opportunity. But before we go there, I want you to be able to talk about the issues that you feel people should be talking about, why you're running, why it's important for people to pay attention to these things.
That's right. So fundamentally, I'm about lower taxes, less regulation, and more liberty. And if you think about those 3 things as kind of the legs of a stool, there's what really needs to be help with here in upstate, and particularly in the 118th Assembly District. It is a very big district. It's spread out, and you see in a lot of the people, and what the people are concerned about are these things like property taxes, about the good jobs that they need to have to be able to not only raise a family in the area, but then simply stay and retire and live in the area.
Tough here. I mean, you spent a lot of time in the service. Did upstate New York look different when you kind of came back and settled back here?
Well, this has always been my home. It's where I'm from. It's where I was born and raised, and I'm absolutely delighted and pleased to be back here. And I actually spent a couple years working at the Hudson River Black River Regulating District, which is a New York State public benefit corporation. I was the executive director of that. So I got a lot of experience in 10 counties across the Adirondacks and across upstate, many of which are in this legislative district. But I also got a lot of experience in Albany. And things have changed somewhat from my youth, if you will. There's a lot less jobs and a lot less opportunity.
There's another Cuomo in office.
That's right.
A different Cuomo.
Instead of the father, it's the son, sort of thing. And it's made a big difference in my thinking about the district and about all the things that I want to do for the people in the district.
All right, fair enough, Jeff.
All right, so I want to give the opportunity to talk about issues, as you said, and positive things in the campaign. can we get into, I want to get into the arrest, allegations that made against you and allegations you've made against others. Last time we had you on the program, this was right after you had been arrested and processed for an allegation that you falsely submitted a document, basically, and this involved a tax exemption. Can you talk about, in your understanding, what has been said against you, and I'll give you the opportunity to defend what people are saying.
Sure. So I made a mistake, and I immediately corrected the mistake, and I made things good with the town in question. Obviously, I have to be very careful about what I say in terms of the case that's coming up, sort of thing. But I'm very certain, and I'm very sure, and my attorney understands that this is politically motivated and factually meritless. In his 42 years of experience practicing law, he's never heard of someone being given an appearance ticket for something like this before. And he finds it, absolutely incredulous. And we actually look forward to getting the opportunity to have our day in court. I did appear, but it's really telling that the complaint didn't come from any official in Niskayuna, New York. And that's really the fundamental facts of the situation.
Can we talk about that? Where did the complaint come from? Let's begin with this: the paperwork. You're saying it was you just made a mistake. You checked the wrong box, type of a thing.
That's right. I made a mistake. I made good on that mistake, and I immediately corrected it. And that was months ago when this was all said and done, sort of thing. But what it really is that the complaint was filed by Donald Van Duzen from the town of Johnstown, who's clearly supporting my opponent. It's a political hatchet job, and it's dirty politics. And, I think that we've got enough corruption in Albany, and we don't need to be sending someone to Albany that doesn't have a moral compass in such a manner.
So when you say you immediately corrected it, you said, "Oh my gosh, I think I did this," and you found someone presented it to you. How did you find out?
I went right down to the town and spoke with the assessor there.
How did you find out that maybe I checked the wrong box, or maybe I'm receiving a benefit that I shouldn't have been receiving?
I first learned of it on a Facebook news site, sort of thing.
So do you think this was your opponent was kind of putting the word out that, hey, look what he's doing, or this is? Can you talk about that?
Well, I don't want to get into too much that could compromise the future court case, but without a doubt, my opponents are behind all of this.
Could you explain what it is? Because I've kind of been confused about the exemption. So it's called a veterans property tax exemption. Can you explain what it is and why it is important to veterans, and just so people have an understanding of what this whole thing is about?
Certainly, it's an exemption for which I am eligible. Because I did serve 3 combat tours in Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things where town by town, municipality by municipality, they vote under, I believe it's a state law, to be able to grant veterans, in my case, a combat veteran of 3 tours, certain exemptions, sort of thing. And it's one of those things that you have to apply for. And it's, in this case, it's a big paperwork thing, and which I made a mistake, and for which I took responsibility for it, and then I immediately took actions to correct it.
So what was it is, so basically you can do it on one property, and you had a new property, and you did it on there and didn't realize you'd already had it on the other property?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. I understand that.
Approximately how much of a benefit was it? And you said you've already made good on it? It's already been...
That's right. I immediately, as soon as I took the exemption off, I made amends and went down to literally to pay them back. They don't even have a process for paying something back like that. I had to actually go through another process to be able to do so. But I did make it good, and everything that I need to do has been done in this case. And like I said, it's very telling that the municipality that was affected in this case, that the complaint didn't come from any official in Niskayuna.
Let me ask you, the last time you were on the show as well, you had said you respect the police, state police, but you alleged that they were being used to do dirty work. Do you still stand by that? Can you clarify that?
Yeah, I don't really want to get into that because, like I said, this is a process that you have to go through, and you have to respect the process. The big thing that people really need to understand is I fundamentally, as a legislator, and I fundamentally, as a person who's all my life has supported and defended the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I respect the rule of law. I respect the process, and I respect law enforcement procedures. And I am very confident that this process, as we go through it, and as my attorney has said, in 42 years, he's never heard of someone being given an appearance ticket for this. And I'm very confident, and he is very confident going forward, that we're going to take care of this matter and it will be resolved in our favor.
Can I ask as well, is this a felony charge, and does that jeopardize your candidacy at all?
It is a felony charge, and I am addressing it as such, sort of thing.
Sure.
It doesn't jeopardize my candidacy in any bit, sort of
Unless
thing.
you were if you were convicted, it would.
That's right. So going right back to what we believe in the rule of law, one is innocent until proven guilty, right?
Absolutely.
That's a fundamental thing that I've been taught ever since I was a kid, and I believe it to be true. And I believe in the system, and I believe the system will take care of this appropriately.
You don't believe that you intentionally did this. I mean, obviously, you're saying it was just a filing mistake, so I completely understand where you're coming from there.
That's right. We look forward to getting our opportunity to have our day to resolve
How much
this.
was it? How much you'd asked? How much was it total amount of money?
Somewhere around $4,000 sort of thing,
right.
which is, it's a lot of money, but it's certainly nothing for which I would want to trade my integrity and my reputation over, sort of thing.
Absolutely. I believe the incumbent, Mark Butler, who's retiring, is kind of has got your back here a little bit. I think I don't know if he's going to endorse you, but I think he is speaking very highly of you, introducing you to folks.
That's right. So
he has endorsed.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm very grateful for Mark Butler's support, and in fact, he has formally endorsed my candidacy, sort of thing. And it's been really great because he has a lot of reputation and a lot of influence around the district, sort of thing. So not only in my home county of Fulton, but also in Herkimer, in St. Lawrence, Hamilton, and Oneida County. So I'm very grateful for that support.
Can I ask about most important issues to you in this campaign? What's affecting the district the most?
Well, the thing that's affecting the district most is I'm looking to replace Mark Butler as the representative, to be a strong, supportive voice of all the people in the district, to make sure that our voice and our values are heard in Albany. And one of the things that's been a bit disconcerting is that my opponent says that he's too busy to have a debate about the issues in the district. And I think that's a bit too much. We really need to get out there on shows like this. And in fact, he was invited to a show in Fulton County, WENT, on the Talk of the Town there. But he's a bit too busy to debate. I really want to talk about the issues of economic development. I want to talk about the issues of school safety. I want to talk about the issues of liberty that people need to know about and need to understand and be part of. That's part of our way of life. So they'll know what the representative is like in Albany. And I think that's very critical to the process of democracy, and in this case for a Republican primary, to let people know whom they're voting for and let them know what each of the candidates are like. And I think in a debate such as that I would be able to show people that I'm actually the best qualified candidate, and I would be the one to best represent them in Albany.
You have, before I get to the next question, we would be happy to host a debate here between the candidates.
We would, sure.
If you would be willing to come on the program here, we would love to have you and Mr. Vincent.
I would be delighted to come on the show and be able to have a debate and talk about all the issues and be able to let people know exactly what my candidacy is like, let people know exactly what I'm like as a person, and let people know what I'm like as a leader. So if they do elect me as the leader to be the 118th Assembly District candidate, that they'll know that they're getting someone that's going to really fight for them, that's going to take the issues to Albany and to really stand up and be counted, sort of thing.
I want to ask just hit on a couple of just quick fire questions where you stand on a few issues. Obviously the Second Amendment, a big, certainly in this district especially, where you stand on the Second Amendment.
Well, certainly the Second Amendment, as I've felt myself here in this whole dirty politics situation that's come up. In fact, my Second Amendment rights have been trampled upon, sort of thing. So people across the district need to know that I'm going to be an individual that will stand up very strongly for the Second Amendment.
How were your rights infringed upon?
That's right. So in New York State, under the law, which I respect, I was required to turn in my pistols, sort of thing.
Because of this
tax. Because of this this charge that's
is
been
that the
brought
law?
against
Is that the law now based on a felony charge? You have to turn in your guns,
which is absolutely outrageous. Innocent
long guns
guilty.
as well, or just pistols?
It was for a pistol permit.
Pistol permit.
Sort of
Oh, they
yeah,
pull your pistol permit.
That's right. I found that to be absolutely incredible. that the same weapon I carried in 3 combat tours in Afghanistan, that I am no longer qualified to possess that.
And I got to tell you, and I have to tell you, what's interesting about that is it's without a conviction. It's based on a charge, which I find to be
I find it to be outrageous. In fact, the SAFE Act that was passed in the dead of the night in 2013 is against all of the principles that we believe under the Second Amendment, sort of thing.
I want to hit you on it is worthy of a state issue, and it is the right to life, the choice where you stand on it, because with the Supreme Court, we don't know where that's going, so it might come down to
looking to pass legislation to protect.
Might come down to a vote in the New York State Legislature to protect.
It may actually come down to that sort of thing. What we're seeing right now with Judge Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court in his nomination, he's just stated to, I think it was a Republican senator, that Roe v. Wade is settled law at the federal level. So that seemed to be an indicator that at the federal level that Roe v. Wade, how they are going to view that and how they're going to go forward on that.
So where do you stand on that issue?
So, I would be in favor of keeping things in New York as they are today, sort of thing, without new legislation that the governor's proposing.
All right. And then one more on the gun issue, just quickly, because I'm running out of time. But the issue of these AR-15, the military-looking guns, the semi-automatics that are being used in these mass shootings. Would you agree to any limit on any of those weapons?
We'd have to take a look at what they're specifically talking about, because it ends up going state by state, and then of course the federal judiciary opines on things, and there are federal laws as well, sort of thing. It's confusing because it is a contentious issue.
Yeah. Well, we'll do this again. I appreciate it. And Robert Smullen is running for the seat currently held by Mark Butler. And it's going to be a long few weeks for you guys.
Well, it's going to be a great few weeks, and we really look forward to it. And I know that the voters will see that I'm the best qualified candidate for state assembly.
Appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bill.